Intuitive productivity is the art of showing up in your life and being effective rather than productive, and swimming with the flow of life. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's very fashionable to be productive nowadays. And there's thousands of YouTube videos telling you different productivity systems, and all of them are great. I'm not bashing any one of those. However, I want to just give you a permission slip. If you're anything like me, where you're intuitive, you're empathic, you've got cycles in your life, you might go in and out of productivity seasons. And also, you may not be able to effectively use some of these productivity systems. It's not your fault, by the way, if this has happened to you. It's just that each of us is a unique snowflake, and each of us has a different set of needs when it comes to getting things done in our lives. So what is the purpose of productivity systems? Why do we have these? We ultimately do this so that we can get more things done in our lives. But I want to start with the basic premise of let's stop being productive and let's start being effective. I used to focus a lot on productivity and getting a lot of stuff done. It was very stressful, very time consuming, and I was kind of running around like a whirling dervish. But now I've found that the system I'm going to be offering you here today, the intuitive productivity system, I get so much more done, my brain is more clear, and I'm actually going with the flow of life. So this is hitting a happy medium between using our intuition and kind of going with the flow of life, which is so important, and also anchoring that in with some frameworks and systems. If our days are busy and we're just cramming as much stuff as we can in every day, and we've got a big long checklist of things that we need to do, there's a really good chance that you're not being effective. And what is effective? Effectiveness is when you're doing those things that make the hugest impact on your overall overarching kind of theme and agenda for your life. So there are some key aims I'm sure that you want to hit. And if we are filling our day with a bunch of different things, there's a really good chance you're not hitting those targets that you want to be hitting. And here's why. The Pareto's law is one of the most powerful laws. We've all heard it, but not a lot of us, especially nowadays. Nowadays we hear 1,000,000,001 different things. There's so much information out there. So a lot of us have heard the Pareto's law of 80% of the results that you get are going to come from 20% of your effort, meaning there's only a few things that you need to be doing every day to push the needle forward in your life to get the things done that really matter to you. But a lot of us aren't doing those things. So what effectiveness is getting very clear on, one, what is your soul calling you to do in this life? Or even in the near future, or even right this second. What is your soul asking you to do? Or if you don't like the word soul, you can ask, what is it that I truly want? What is the bigger part of me, the deep down part? What does that part want? And get really clear about that. And then we can take an honest look. Okay, here's what I really want to do. Even make a list of some things you want to do. Then get really clear on which of those things you would like to focus on for the next year or two. And then we can see, honestly, when we take a look at the big picture things that we really want in our lives, there's only a few things we need to do every day to get there. For instance, starting a 6-figure business. You need to focus on selling and marketing. And that means every day you're probably going to be selling and marketing. There's only a few things we need to do, for instance, also to lose 50 pounds. To lose 50 pounds, there are maybe 2 key things we need to do every single day. And that's more or less going to be eat healthy food and move our body. 2 very simple things. Those are the only 2 things that we need to focus on. And it goes like that for pretty much all of the big tasks. Again, Pareto's law is universal. So to be effective in our lives doesn't mean we get a bunch of productivity systems, get overwhelmed, and spend a bunch of time trying to figure out productivity hacks and all this stuff. It means we just take action every day. Quick little story. When I was in my very early 20s and I was trying to be very productive in my life, and I had a little bit of a productivity addiction, I had all these different productivity systems that I was always constantly trying new ones. And for whatever reason, they just did not stick. And not for whatever reason, it just didn't suit my constitution. My constitution is I'm a very type A person, but I'm also very intuitive, and I go through cycles like you most likely. So I was sitting there trying to do one of the productivity systems I was trying to implement was the Getting Things Done system by David Allen, which is fine. It's a fine system. But when I implemented it, it was completely analog. So you had to get files and you had to get a file cabinet. And every time that a task would enter your mind that you didn't want to do right this second, you would write it down and file it away. So I had this massive filing cabinet with thousands of pieces of paper with all this stuff I needed to do just sitting in my room, and it was just piling up and piling up and piling up, and I wasn't really being effective in my life. And that's kind of the story of how almost all the productivity systems I've ever tried kind of led me down this path of being a whirling dervish, getting a bunch of stuff done and being productive, but not really being effective. So here's the simple tea. I didn't mean to say tea, but here's the tea, my friends. Here's the tea about how to be effective. So you take a look at the list that you just made of what you want to focus on, and just take the one thing that's going to make the biggest impact that you'd really like to do. And now every day you're going to do a couple things that drive the needle. That's it. That's all there is to it. So this is actually, there's a framework behind this that I'm going to give you that's going to help you to implement this. But that's just basically, that's the foundational productivity system that you need, is just write down what you want. And then just ask yourself honestly, what do I need to do every day to get this done? The beautiful thing about this experience called life is that we were given everything that we want is in concert with what the divine beloved wants for us. So we're never given the seed of something that we want without also being given the insights on how to do it, or maybe even who to consult to ask how to do it. You're always going to be given the next best step. This is all you need: a pen and a piece of paper and a quick little list every night of the 3 things you need to do to get you towards that major overarching target point for the next year. That's it. Now, I want to give you a system and a framework for helping to implement all this. So this is my intuitive productivity system. For free, here you go. There are 2 mindset keys to this system and 3 tools. This is the effective productivity system that will get you gliding to whatever targets you want to achieve. And this is a really nice way, in my opinion, to interface with life and to be truly effective. So the 2 mindset keys. The first one is a commitment to those little tiny 20% actions. So this means you have to really commit to every day being ruthless with your time. There's only so many things you can do in a day, and so make sure that you're being really committed to getting to honoring the Pareto's law and doing the 20%. The 20% little things every day that are going to push you towards your target. Number 2 mindset shift is a commitment to massive mediocre action. I gotta get close to the camera. Commit to massive mediocre action. If you're watching this, you're a perfectionist. And if you're a perfectionist, you have an aversion to taking mediocre action. You're trying to take a perfect action all the time. This is holding you back in a major way. So to be effective in your life and to implement intuitive productivity, part of the intuitive part is going into whatever makes you uncomfortable. So when you feel sensations in your body and you're having some resistance to, for instance, sitting down and writing, and you want to get a book done, perfect. Ding, ding, ding. Let's sit down and write. There you go. You just found it. So a commitment to doing the mediocre actions, getting uncomfortable. If you don't like the word mediocre, you can use imperfect. By the way, nothing you do is mediocre or imperfect. It's all going to be perfect right now as it is. It's just going to get better and better with time as you continue to work on whatever it is you're working on. So the 3 tools I'm going to offer you. Tool number 1, every night, write out your list of the 3 things you need to get done the next day. So this is just your quick little list, your to-do list the night before. Tool number 2 is going to be Asana. So this is actually an electronic software. I like Asana. This is an optional tool, but I really do find it helpful for all the little nonsense tasks that we don't necessarily want to be focused on all the time, but we can just get that in a place so that our mind is clear. So you can use Asana for organizing your life and getting all the little things like pay rent or pay the bill, drive so-and-so to football practice or whatever. You can use it for your scheduling and for your to-dos. I really like Asana and or ClickUp. By the way, ClickUp is a little more robust, a little bit harder to learn, but they're both free. And then tool number 3 is Notion. I do enjoy Notion. Now don't get carried away. You only need a couple things on Notion. I use Notion as a note-taking device. So this means anytime that I'm reading something and I want to take a couple notes, or if I'm working on some projects and I want to just keep notes on it, I use Notion. Also, quick side note, this will be a perfect time for me to mention to you, I have a new little mini course called the 10K in 30 Days Framework, and that's all on Notion. So with the 10K in 30 Days Framework, you get a full mini course with a video training and you actually get a couple Notion templates to help you to start your online business, taken from 0 to 10K in 30 days. And this is a framework you can use over and over again. I'm really a big fan of Notion in terms of building out templates that I actually use on a regular basis. So I wanted to put together this template for you so you can actually be, again, effective rather than just productive. That checklist is gonna serve you so well, especially if you're at all interested in starting an online business. This is really, really good for beginners who don't even know where to start or what you could possibly sell online. So that's available at brendaturner.com/shop. So basically Notion is a replacement for Evernote. That really does help to organize your brain. That helps to organize your life. How do we put this all together? We put this all together by showing up every day with a commitment to honoring our intuition. Every day we show up and we check in with our intuition. That means our gut instincts. Now, it might happen that you get to tomorrow and it just, for whatever reason, things are not working. It's not flowing. You can feel that you're hitting against a brick wall. Well, this is where the intuitive part comes in. Okay, if it's feeling too hard or heavy right here, maybe there's something I can go around and flow with. Being like water, as Bruce Lee said. Maybe there's something else on my list. Maybe there's some other thing that I could be doing today. Also, maybe there's a good chance I need to take a day off, or maybe I need to take a month off. And maybe I need to flow with life a little bit. So if you're a woman watching this, really important note, you might notice that a lot of the productivity systems offered on YouTube are offered by men. And there are some women with productivity systems, but a lot of it is men giving productivity systems that they've been using forever. Again, all the productivity system books I've ever read were written by men. And it's important here, we're gonna get into the woo-woo here. Men are functioning on a diurnal cycle. So they go with the cycle of the sun. The male hormone system is on a 24-hour cycle. So they actually thrive on monotony. They actually thrive off of repetitiveness. And what suits the male kind of system, not universally, because there are some men who don't thrive off of that constant day-to-day cycles. There are some men who like variety, but by and large, men really thrive off of those. If they find a productivity system that works, they can use it for the rest of their lives and it will work perfect. Women, however, we're on a 28-day cycle. Now, I'm not saying that this makes us less organized. What I'm saying is, even women who are type A, like myself, I happen to be type A. And if you are a type A woman, that there's a need for planning, and you will thrive off of planning. But there's also a part of most women, a lot of us, who need to honor that 28-day cycle. And with that 28-day cycle, that may come with periods of intense creativity, intense just a need to let go of structure, periods of complete solitude and rest, and not checking in with the productivity systems. So there's more of a flow. The female kind of energetic system, it needs a little bit more wiggle room and room to breathe. So again, another permission slip. If you happen to be watching this and you have certain periods throughout your month where you just cannot stand to follow the plans that you originally set for yourself, and you're like, I don't know why I can't stick to these plans. Well, you're probably not it's probably not easy to stick to the plans because you're not meant to stick to them right at this second. So it's okay if you're feeling in your body lots of resistance, lots of constriction, lots of, I just don't want to do this right this second. You're hitting a wall over and over again. It's time to take a step back, relax, and reset. Just let go a little bit. Permission slip. You're welcome. The intuitive productivity system, in a nutshell, it involves getting really clear on what you would like to do with your life. What's really important? What are we doing? What are we focusing on? Not getting a bunch of stuff done. Then step 2, we honor and commit to showing up every day and doing our deep work in whatever way that shows up. We can use the productivity systems such as Asana and such as planners, but we can also check in every day with our intuition and see what the present moment is asking of us. And sometimes that also might include yielding to the need for rest, solitude, peace, and quiet, and being a little bit messy with our lives for just a couple days here and there. Also, it's important for me to say, if your energetic system is requiring for you to take a little time all the way away from being locked in and rigid and having yourself on a very strict daily schedule, please do that. So that is intuitive productivity in a nutshell. Let's let go of productivity, being the worker bees, being productive, and let's step into the new era of effectiveness and really getting what we want to get done with our lives. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. If you'd like any more information about thriving, spirituality, and success, you can go to brendaturner.com/shop and get any one of my programs to help you to succeed and prosper. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Now, if you thought that was good, you haven't seen anything yet. Are you ready to be fearless? Are you ready to be unafraid and unstoppable? Are you ready to be unmesswithable? Well, you're going to want to check out this video all about overcoming your fear, becoming unafraid and unstoppable so that you can actually get the things that you want to get done in your life. So if you feel any fear in your chest, if you have any resistance about a project, take my hand, my friend. Let's jump in the water together. It's beautiful. It's beautiful in here. Come, let's jump. Check out that other video.